Good evening, everybody. Eric's UK here again. Welcome back. It's just gone midnight here in the UK, ready for the 2nd of August and today's RPGADay video. This one is entitled Unique. And I was quite honestly a little unsure what to do for this. I was going to do something with regards to how unique the hobby is, but actually something in Tim Samway 7 RPG's video earlier today gave me another idea. Back in the very early 90s, in the days of 2nd edition AD&D, I came up with a campaign setting. Wasn't original in the slightest. As you may or may not know, I'm a bit of a big Doctor Who fan. And back at the time, we had a TV station, cable satellite one, still going now. Back then, it was called UK TV Gold. And every night about 11 o'clock, they would run they would basically run Doctor Who from the first episode of John Pertwee, the Third Doctor, all the way through to the end of Sylvester McCoy's. And every Sunday, they would do an omnibus of all the episodes in one big go. And I ended up creating a campaign setting. It was very Europe-centric. The map I drew even looked like fantasy Europe and North Africa. But I nicked a load of names from Doctor Who for NPCs and cities. And in fact, the entire country or world was named Traken after a planet in Doctor Who. All not very unique, I admit. And it was largely as I say, it was basically a rip-off of Europe. This is what you do when you're in your late teens and, you've not got a great creative element. The main empire, which was basically Europe in its pickles, was a number of independent city-states that had banded together to form a sort of trade and defence network, I suppose. What would be Spain on the map was actually the evil empire, which was run by... it's very awkward to say it now, but it was a female-dominated society that was actually lawful evil and run kind of feminism gone mad, I suppose. And they were sort of like the main villains of the campaign for some reason. And the UK, or England as it would be, Great Britain, was a Celtic nation of barbarians and whatever. And even sort of like North Africa was Egyptian, so there was no unique in there at all whatsoever. What made it unique, I think, was some elements that I added to make it different. So, for example, normally you have like an ancient race, an ancient civilization that predated everybody else. Pathfinder and Galarian has the Aslanti and the Thessalonians, and in mine it was a race called the Thrax, who they weren't human. In fact, they were the precursors to what D&D used to call Thri-kreen. They were like a four-armed insect race, and the idea was that they had developed on this world and then become technologically advanced and eventually taken off into space to colonize other worlds and left Traken to whoever came afterwards. In fact, some of the ruins and things they used to find out in the wild, they never sort of realised, I don't think, playing it, but they were like the remains of monorails and monorail stations and things like that used to span the world for the Thrax. Dwarves were something I changed, are a little bit more unique. Dwarves normally in like D&D and what have you are lawful good by alignment. I made them lawful evil and based them on the Klingon Empire of Star Trek. They were all for fighting and victory and was glorious and honourable combat. But at the same time, bullying was not above them because, after all, there is nothing more honourable than victory. And I think that made a nice sort of different take. I've not really seen anything like that for your regular sort of like mountain hill dwarves. Dragons I made so that the colour of their scales didn't necessarily match the traditional alignments. So you could run into a lawful good red dragon or a neutral evil gold dragon, just because the colour of their scales meant nothing. They could be, you know, and I think that made things a little more interesting because players couldn't just decide what they were going to do when they heard about a gold dragon rampaging through the countryside. I mean, was it an evil gold dragon or was it up looking for something or someone had stolen something from it? And that made things a little bit more unique. I've not seen anyone do anything like that since. And speaking of dragons, I don't think I can claim this one, but I think someone back then had told me this was something in early RuneQuest. But dragons were not actually dragons. Dragons were the dreams of sleeping dragons given physical form, and true dragons, as they came to be known, were moosive, pretty much to the point that mountain ranges were in fact dragons laying there asleep, and tectonic shifts and pushed the earth and rocks up over them because it couldn't move them. And these things were like miles and miles in length. And I don't know. To me, those are things that made that campaign unique. I don't do things like that anymore. I'm very much a what would be the word, traditional fantasy now for my campaigns. I like game worlds that don't go don't push the envelopes. I like traditional fantasy. But back then, this made for a very interesting and unique campaign. Once players started fathoming some of it out over 2 or 3 campaigns, you know, we had a good time with it, and that was the important bit. Well, that was my video for today on Unique. Tomorrow is Engage, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do for that one. I have an idea, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing your videos. Until then, have a good night, a good day, and